red, the color of blood, of blushes and flushes, of nipples, lips, and genitals awash with sexual excitement, is visible from afar and emotionally arousing. Nancy Edgoff. Welcome to the study, everyone. I want to first say thank you for clicking on this video, and thank you to the 300 subscribers that I have right now. In YouTube terms, that's not a lot, but for me, that seems amazing. So thank you so much. I don't know what I would do, but I think I would like to do something for everybody that has subscribed right up front. So definitely, if you are a subscriber, just leave a comment down below. Let me know, and I'll tag you on a list a little later down the road, and try to thank you properly. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If not, at least give us a like down here, and we'll just keep making these videos here for you. Now, I really should know nothing about makeup and makeup application. I have personally never worn makeup, actually once for Halloween. But besides that, theatrical face paint, really, I've never used makeup. But through ASMR videos and admittedly probably hours watching makeup videos or makeup tutorials or whatever may scroll onto my screen, I feel like I have a fairly deep knowledge at this point about it. But really what I wanted to dive into a little bit more, it's not the application of makeup, but the history of the makeup, and why, how, maybe it became so prevalent. But really, to start speaking about the origins of makeup, we need to go back about 6,000 years. The first recorded occurrence of cosmetic enhancements was in ancient Egypt, where makeup served as an advertisement of wealth believed to appeal to the gods. An elaborate eyeliner characteristic of Egyptian art on men and women as early as 4000 BCE. Kohl, rouge, white powders to lighten the skin tone, and malachite eye shadow were all in popular use, and that malachite eyeshadow is that green color which represents the gods Horus and Ra. Even before it appeared in Egyptian art, many have theorized that older civilizations used makeup more as camouflage, a way to assist in stalking prey. Makeup's mentioned in the Bible too, in both the Jewish scriptures and Christian Old Testament and New Testament. Book of Jeremiah, which details the prophet's ministry from about 627 BCE to 586, stated that cosmetics should not be used in order to discourage vanity. And it quotes, "And you, O desolate one, what do you mean that you dress in crimson, that you deck yourself with ornaments of gold, that you enlarge your eyes with paint? In vain you beautify yourself. Your lovers despise you. They seek your life." In 2 Kings, Evil Queen Jezebel embodies the symbiosis between cosmetics and wickedness, being described as having painted her eyes and adorned her head, though Jezebel's makeup use was not the reason she was murdered. The ancient Romans also argued against the use of cosmetics. Though not for religious reasons, hygiene products such as bath soaps and deodorants and moisturizers, they were all in common use by men and women. And women were encouraged to enhance their natural appearance by removing body hair. But makeup products such as rouge were associated with sex workers, and hence were considered a sign of shamelessness and hedonism. Deriding or villainizing makeup users is a common theme in Roman poems and comic plays, though theatrical performances actually constituted one of the few classes of people expected to use makeup. Admonishments against makeup appear in personal writings of Roman doctors and philosophers. Looks, as nature bestowed them, are always most becoming. The philosopher Seneca the Younger, in a letter to his mother, praised the fact that she never defiled her face with paints or cosmetics. Now, the Roman view of cosmetics was actually rooted in Stoicism, which is a philosophy that prioritized moral goodness and human reason. Stoics regarded beauty equating to goodness. While an attractive physical form might be desirable, true beauty was instead associated with moral acts. Decorating the body with cosmetics implied vanity or selfishness that to Stoics was undesirable. Stoicism was not confined to ancient Rome, but it affected the mainstream opinion of cosmetics. Not every Roman was resistant to makeup. Some continued to rouge their cheeks, whiten their faces, line their eyes, but the Stoic ideal leaned toward what we might call au naturel, or the no makeup look. Using skincare products and other toiletries to enhance one's natural appearance. Make it seem like they just woke up that way. Not to decorate and ornate themselves. Now, this back and forth pendulum pattern of embracing and rejecting makeup continued in the Western world. Still continues in the Western world. Cosmetics were so popular in the Byzantine Empire that citizens gained an international reputation for vanity. The Renaissance era embraced all forms of physical beauty, which people sought to attain, especially through hair dye and skin lighteners. At that time, those skin lighteners contained powdered lead, other harmful products, often proved toxic. Even at the time, some of that was suspected, but did not deter everybody from wearing it. Another widespread movement against cosmetics appeared in the mid-19th century, when Britain's Queen Victoria declared makeup to be vulgar, and cosmetics once again went out of fashion. Though many women didn't give up makeup entirely, many just now applied it in secret, again leaning towards a more natural look. In the 18th century in America, both men and women of upper classes wore makeup. But shortly after the American Revolution, the use of visible paint cosmetics by either gender gradually became socially unacceptable. That included colored cosmetics for lips and skin and nails. For most of the 19th century, few paint cosmetics were manufactured in America, Instead, women relied on recipes that circulated among friends, family, and women's magazines. Using these recipes, they discreetly prepared lotions, powders, skin washes to lighten their complexions and diminish appearance of blemishes or freckles. Pharmacists would sell these ingredients for the recipes as well as the occasional pre-mixed concoction. Painting one's face was considered vulgar and was associated with prostitution again. So products leaned back into the natural look. Some women, unsatisfied with the old standby cheek pinching, secretly stained their cheeks, lips with pigments from petals or berries, or used ashes to darken eyebrows and eyelashes. Women worked to attain the era's ideal feminine identity, a natural and demure look, with a pale complexion, rosy lips, and cheeks, and with bright eyes. In the 1880s, entrepreneurs began to produce their own lines of cosmetic products that promised to provide a natural look for their customers. Some of these new companies were small, woman-owned businesses that typically use an agent system for distribution, as pioneered by the California Perfume Company, later rebranded as Avon. This business model allowed many women to make money independently, all while spreading the company's branding. Also, more women were earning wages and buying cosmetics, thereby enlarging the market further. Women could make a living in this burgeoning cosmetics trade as business owners, agents, or factory workers. And most of the entrepreneurs came from fairly humble origins. Some managed to transform their local operations into successful businesses with a wide distribution of products. African American women also found success through this model, but faced extra obstacles. Many white shops refused to consider stocking African American beauty products until successful businesses like that of Madam C.J. Walker created enough of a demand through their distribution channels. At the very end of the 1800s, portrait photography became popular. People would save up to sit for the one picture they'd ever have of themselves, and applying makeup before that picture became standard. It's kind of odd to think about, but up until this point, mirrors were not that common. But as mirrors became more affordable and they became more prevalent in people's homes, it became easier, but also seemingly more important to always put a fresh face forward. These two factors were important in the development of makeup, but nothing would play a greater role in the mainstream use of cosmetic than motion pictures. When actors made the transition from stage to screen, they brought with them very heavy makeup regimens that were designed to make them visible to people in the very back row of a dark theater. That look didn't translate well to camera. In 1914, Max Factor, who provided wigs to Hollywood studios, developed a grease paint foundation that wouldn't cake or crack. And grease paint was popular with movie stars both on screen and off. And it marked Factor's first major success in the cosmetic industry. And he'd go on to develop lip gloss and eyebrow pencil and popularized the word makeup. In the 1920s, he began marketing his makeup to the public with the claims that they could look like their favorite movie stars. A few years earlier, in 1915, T.L. Williams started the Maybelline Company. Williams's sister, Mabel, had what he thought was an ingenious way to make her lashes look striking. She mixed petroleum jelly and coal dust. Williams distilled that formula into a cake form and eventually found great success in selling it to the public. A Around the same time with that, major advancements were being made in the production of nail polish. Prior to the 1920s, nail care consisted mainly of trimming, shaping, and buffing one's nails. But Henry Ford, stay with me here, Ford used a special formulated black lacquer paint on his vehicles because it dried more quickly than other colors. But other companies began formulating fast-drying lacquer paints in multiple colors to compete. Now, these quick-drying lacquers were then co-opted by other businesses, and the cosmetics companies jumped on that as well. Fun fact, the main ingredient here was nitrocellulose, which is actually used in smokeless gunpowder and false teeth. So by the 20s, it was also fashionable for women, particularly in cities, to wear more conspicuous makeup. This shift reflected the growing influence of Hollywood and its glamorous new stars. Painted women could now also identify as respectable women, even if they wore dramatic mascara, eyeliner, and dusky eyeshadow and lipstick, just like the stars on the screen. Through commercialization and advertisement, cosmetics again became a mark of wealth and status, and emphasizing physical features, even for sex appeal, was no longer considered quite so selfish or wicked or taboo. Eventually, advertisers persuaded women to take the opposite view. Cosmetics were now a necessity. Now, entering into the 1930s, it became more fashionable for white or light-skinned women to sport a quote-unquote healthy tan. Previously, a tan had been equated with working class, who performed outdoor labor. But now a tan identified a woman as modern and healthy, who participated in outdoor recreations and leisure. Makeup colors were marketed in various suntan shades, giving women the option to remove the tan whenever they wished to reclaim a fair complexion. When it came to racial equality and representation of the full skin tone spectrum, the cosmetics industry has and still does fall short, really catering still to white women or very light-skinned women. Now, at this time, the cosmetics industry experienced a real major shift. Small companies, many of which were owned by individual or small groups of women, were replaced by larger corporations. Business models have changed. In order to remain competitive and achieve wide distribution, a business had to engage in wholesale bargaining with male-owned drug and department stores. Because women were usually excluded from these distribution channels, most female-owned businesses failed or were acquired or consolidated. By 1930, a small handful of companies controlled 40% of the industry. And these companies now release thousands of factory-produced similar products under various brand names. Makeup revenue spending increased dramatically when millions of women entered the workforce during the Second World War, gaining greater independence and purchasing power. Younger women embraced an overly flirtatious persona, signaled through the conspicuous use of bold rouges and powders, dark lipsticks, and nail polish. Many working women followed the trend to wear shorter, bobbed or boyish or male hairstyles. Makeup was then used to reassert femininity. Due to wartime supply shortages, nylon stockings became unavailable. Women then turned to leg makeup to paint on hosiery, maintaining the illusion of nylon-clad legs. Cosmetics advertisements and armed forces recruiting campaigns during the war emphasized women's dual responsibilities to support the war effort and maintain one's feminine identity through the use of makeup. Government-produced posters encouraged women to join the war effort, depicted female nurses and factory workers in bright red lipstick and dark mascara. Makeup, especially lipstick, had become such an essential component of American femininity that the federal government quickly rescinded its wartime materials rationing restrictions on cosmetics manufacturers in order to encourage the use of makeup. After the war, 80 to 90% of American women wore lipstick. Companies like Avon and Revlon capitalized on that now ingrained fashion. By the 1950s and 60s, teenage girls were commonly wearing makeup, and cosmetics companies devised separate marketing campaigns to target younger aged groups. In the late 60s, using makeup became politicized. Counterculture movements celebrated ideas of natural beauty, including the rejection of makeup altogether. Cosmetic companies returned to advertisements that claimed that products provided a natural look. We've swung to the other side again. These ideals still relied on racial whiteness as the basis of feminine beauty, but under continued pressure from women of color, major cosmetics firms began to cater more to darker skin or African American markets, not only by producing products geared towards black women, often under separate brand names, but also by hiring black women as sales agents. However, the so-called ethnic segment of cosmetic marketing remained small, making up 2 to 3% of total sales in the late 70s. And that brings us to today. Makeup is everywhere. Makeup advertisements are prevalent. Makeup tutorials online. They're in every algorithm. Whatever you want yourself to look like, however you want to represent yourself. Natural look, bright, bold colors, every color of the rainbow. Every gender can take advantage. There is an option out there for everyone. The stigmas, for the most part, have dissipated, at least on this pendulum swing. Who knows what the next trend is going to be? Well, maybe one of the ASMR makeup artists knows what the next trend is going to be. Not me. I'll just continue to watch these tutorials. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit of the history today. Again, if you listen this far, I thank you very much. I hope you subscribe. I hope you like the video. It definitely helps the channel grow. And I'll see you in the study next time.